Radio. This is achieveradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/achieveradio.
What a beautiful day to be alive. My debt is paid and more money arrives. The fridge is full and there's plenty of ice for a fireside chat with anyone I like. What a beautiful day, good to be here, when almost everyone has disappeared. When almost everyone is waiting in line, it's good to meet you in this world of mine.
Welcome, welcome, everybody. It is Monday evening, and this is Live with Dr. Carolyn Dean here on achieveradio.com. We're so happy you're here with us. Absolutely delighted that you're going to be listening for the next 2 hours and just taking in every morsel of information. And it's not just the language we're speaking. It's the resonance. It's the energy. It is the power behind the alchemy of transformation, of transfusing the body with the essential building blocks it requires to not only achieve perfect natural health here in this body, mind, and spirit, but also to transcend, to even go beyond what we think we even know the body can accomplish. And who would have ever known that the body can accomplish some of the things that it can accomplish until Dr. Dean pointed it out to us. And not only did she point it out to us, ladies and gentlemen, but she came up with the formularies that would allow us to achieve this alchemy, this beautiful gathering together of spirit and body and building blocks and minerals and genetic materials and sunshine and fresh air. She's got it all in her little trick bag, and she's whipping it out on Monday nights. Well, actually, she brings it out all the time everywhere she goes, radiating positivity, joy, and her own special brand of, as I said, alchemy. It's something I was reading through her, her CVV and just looking at some of the things that she's accomplished, and I'm like, there is nothing on here about alchemy, but really there should be, because she is an alchemist of the finest order. We're so happy she's here with us this evening, and we're happy you're here too. If this is your first time tuning in, we usually gather together with Dr. Dean and we talk for a few minutes, and then we take phone calls. And if you've been here as a regular, like our good friend Susan and all of our wonderful people like Nancy in Portland and our good friend Ryan Floor and all these wonderful people who join us every single week, Brenda, then we just invite you to sit back and enjoy, because you're going to learn something new tonight. I can guarantee you. It never fails. Dr. Dean always lays some new information on us, and she's going to do it again tonight. No pressure, of course, no pressure whatsoever. And so we're so happy to have her here with us this evening. The alchemist, the beautiful, the amazing, the most wonderful Dr. Carolyn Dean. Oh, where did it go? Wait a minute.
Oh my gosh. I didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't know what to say, but I will say thank you. The yay is as much for Ginny as it is for me. That's all I have to say. The yay is for both of us, because we're doing great and wonderful things together. And
well, it really don't. You said it, though. You said it Saturday when we were listening to Bob's show, and you said, the Remag and some of the formulas are really going beyond what should technically be possible. It's a magnesium, but there are things that are going vastly beyond what we can understand about it, and that's where the alchemy does come in.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, good point. And I guess what we're trying to instill in our listeners is if they get an appreciation for their genius body and give it the building blocks and allow it to do its work, they won't have to be so concerned about their health and the future and, what's going to become of me. And, there's nothing more concerning for women than their bones. Than when they're told by their doctors that, your bones are thin and you should take this drug. It just takes the wind right out of your sails. And I know when I did the interview with Dr. Northrup, Christiane Northrup, we just had a little sidebar question about osteoporosis from someone, and she and I both groaned that, oh yeah, they do the DEXA test, the bone scan, and they literally, and Christiane agreed with me, they compare the bones of a 67-year-old to a 30-year-old and say, yep, your bones aren't that of a 30-year-old. Yep, you need to take these drugs. And you really don't know. I mean, are they right? Should my bones be the same as a 30-year-old? Probably not. And what you end up doing is just feeling fragile. You feel like your bones are so brittle, if you did even heavy exercise, you might hurt yourself. So you do the opposite of what you really should be doing. You should be going out there and doing your walking and your swimming. I'm not into running, but you should be doing exercise to build up your muscles and your ligaments and your tendons, the things that support your bones. If your bones with the timing in your life and with a little less estrogen are going to be a little thinner, well, then you can reinforce the other structures of your body. That's totally up to you. But you don't have to feel like you have to have the bones of a 30-year-old. I mean, that's the whole, Hollywood mystique where, if you don't look like a teenage boy, then there's something wrong with you. The whole thing about total biology and bones is that, and here's the words, in a climate of universal consensus that with aging and menopause, a woman will no longer feel attractive, this results in overall devaluation and resorption of bone. Now, there you have the conflict that's created in our society where older women are devalued. I mean, you see it all the time. I see it here. I go to the pool, and it's retired people mostly. I'm still working, but they're retired. But if there was this one young, arrogant man that used to come to the pool, an Asian guy, and he did not see a woman who was older than 40. He did not see them, did not look you in the eye, did not greet. They didn't exist. And I thought, oh, that's very interesting, because that's the way a lot of women feel. And if you realize the conflict can affect you on the physical level, then you say, well, blow that off, don't mess with me on that level, old brain of mine. Let me just be as strong as I can possibly be with all the resources I have and not let that affect me. So that's number one. That's not something I write about. I'll rant about it. I don't like writing about that stuff. It sounds too pompous. Sounds like I know what I'm talking about. But that's why I look at total biology to give that perspective of conflict and how we, I guess, psychologically assume and assess ourselves and our environment and make us less than we really should be. So there, Ginny, your comments.
That's outstanding. I had no idea. Okay, see, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I proved my point, my opening point. Here we go. But it makes so much sense that a woman would feel devalued if she was not acknowledged as she gets older, and it would cause her to atrophy from the inside out. Her bones would just, she would start to shrink or not take up as much space or feel as dynamic. And I don't, unfortunately for me, that's not, my issue. I'm very grateful because, I have somebody who thinks I'm fabulous and gives me all kinds of attention, and I think you do too. But gosh, if that were really a button for me, I could see where that would affect me. So I'm so glad that you brought that up. That is something else that women could think of, because really, they should love and honor themselves.
Right, and if it's, and mostly it is unconscious, and if it's not, if you're following behaviors that kind of make you realize that, oh my gosh, I guess I'm trying too hard to be, well, not even to be young. I'll always just wear flippy little dresses, even when I'm 100. So it's not that. It's just being strong in your own confidence about your own self. Seriously, women, we make life. We create babies. We bring them into the world. And, one of the reasons why men devalue women or try to put them down, try to control them, is they can't do that. So they feel they have to control women in order to control life, so they'll be in control. And that's why, women really do rule, because we do grow life. There's nothing more powerful than that. And then somehow we just get into this placating where we have to assuage their feeling of inferiority because they can't make life. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm more powerful than you, dear. But yeah, you're the big, strong man. Take out the garbage. So it's put yourself in perspective, woman, and just pound something. Just get your bones strong. Even just standing in I don't know if it's a Tai Chi posture, Qigong posture. There was a small study done where you would just stand in a strong Qigong posture, let your energy flow up through your toes, through the meridians, all that, and that can build bone. Anything can build bone. Do not let that doctor sitting in front of you say, oh, your bones are weak and brittle. You're going to have to take this horrible drug with 1 million side effects so that we can feel that we're doing something for you. No, it shouldn't be like that at all.
No, not at all. And also, Carolyn, I don't know, we haven't even gotten to the blog today, but I will say that I just always remember, Dr. Lustig, your sugar guy.
Yeah.
He talks about how in the body, the bones also start to get browned from the browning effect of having too much sugar. You remember that part of the presentation?
Yes.
Yeah. The bones start to get brown and stuff like that. And I remember getting that testimonial from Deb Morse, who wrote in and said that she had a hip situation and she had to go in for hip surgery, and she thought she was going to need this and that. And they actually ended up closing her up. They went into the surgery, and she had actually gotten healed, and they said she had the bones of a 20-year-old, and the only product she was using at the time were the drops. And I think that the thing about the sugar in the turning the bones brown, and he said they were pristine. He said they were white as snow, her bones. Is that crazy or what?
Yeah.
Yep. And she's 50-something.
Yeah. No, we can do it. We definitely can do it. And part of what is devaluing us now is there is too much information out there, and too many people trying to sell too many products. And in order to sell a product to you, they have to give you the bad news. The bad news is sick, and the good news is we have a product for your sickness. Create the disease and offer the cure. So you've got to be wise to this stuff. I've been writing a lot of blogs lately, just building them up, and Chad puts them out I think 2 a week. And they get me going, because when you read some of these studies, some of these headlines, it's like we are being so manipulated. It is incredible how our total, look at this November 6th blog we'll go back to your osteoporosis blog.
Sure.
But I did one on magnesium energy drinks, and it's so scary the way they're the marketers, the billionaire sellers of Red Bull and Rockstar, these crazy energy drinks. They're poisoning our young people. These kids grow up on sugar, and then they get ADHD, and then they're put on Ritalin, and then they need more energy, so they're drinking the energy drinks. And if you see something that says energy drinks, you think, oh, that sounds healthy. Let me have some of that. And looking at the ingredients, you've got 65 grams of sugar, which is, I break it down, 15 teaspoons of sugar in a can of Rockstar.
Oh, my God.
And at any one time in your bloodstream, you're only supposed to have 2 teaspoons. If you have more than 2 teaspoons, then the body gets to work and it puts out the insulin, put that extra sugar away in the cells. 15 teaspoons, what's it going to do with that? So it's like a sledgehammer of insulin has to come out, get rid of that extra 13 teaspoons. The other main ingredient is caffeine, 240 milligrams in one type of Rockstar. I think there's like 15 different Rockstars. I mean, these guys are seriously trying to sell you a product. So you're getting high on sugar and buzzed on caffeine. You're going up and down in your moods. And when I looked at that and the young people, adolescents and young adults, a third of the population is using these energy drinks on a regular basis. And you think of these kids in college. I mean, you know from your kids that everybody's on Prozac or Ativan for their anxiety and depression. And what's causing it? You know, there's a likelihood of these ridiculous drinks. And these kids are being marketed. Look what they say about some marketing journal said one of the billion-dollar energy drinks boasts that its brand has clearly resonated with consumers, partly due to the product itself and partly due to its image, a sturdy black can with gold and red lettering, gold star icon, and a provocative slogan, "Party like a rock star," not to mention a brand name suggestive of celebrity, high energy, and sex appeal. Sex appeal, I say. Lord, suffering cats. As if our kids weren't exposed to enough pornography in their young lives. Energy drink companies are using sex to sell sickness. So we're doomed. I mean, we are totally doomed as a culture because these kids are not going to be fertile. They're not going to be able to have kids. They're going to get sick 2-3 times as fast as their parents. We're dealing with their parents and grandparents right now. And I remember saying to a 99-year-old patient of mine that I visit when I go to Ontario, I told her 30 years ago that she was healthier than her grandchildren. Now she has great-grandchildren. And she still is. I mean, she's 99. And her kids and grandchildren and great-grandchildren are a mess because they've grown up on, these horrific diets. So seriously, folks, if you just keep doing the products if you want to stay healthy and try to convince your family to, because there's no holds barred out there marketing this crap to them. The FDA allows this to happen, and it censors me for trying to tell people that if you want real energy, just take magnesium. That's how low we've stooped. So there.
Gosh, that's incredible. I mean, that is it's just incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets kind of that way. But then we have the good news to give people and try not to get too censored by the FDA by telling people the good news. But, that's where we're at. let's go to Ginny's blog. Now, this is a long blog. Go to drcarolyndeanlive.com to read it. I'll just hit the highlights. It is take magnesium for your bones. This is being proven over and over again as we're seeing more magnesium studies. One study on children said that their bones responded more to magnesium than to calcium, and that's in my Magnesium Miracle book. So magnesium is important. And I don't know if this is true, Ginny, but when I looked up the number of magnesium products on Amazon, because we do sell on Amazon now, it implied there were like 700 magnesium products. I mean, is that even possible? I'll have to do some more research, but I just looked at very unknown magnesium product, and I looked and saw its ranking, and it was up in the 700s. So anyway,
wow.
Magnesium, it's getting really important if there are that many magnesium products. And what we're saying is with Remag, you can get the best products. We get a lot of people who buy the cheap ones and then say to us, well, it's not working. You say magnesium is good in your book, and I took it, and it gave me the laxative effect. So then that's how we get people taking Remag and then having things really improve in their health. So anyway, Ginny's blog, Take Magnesium for Your Bones. We always preface by saying it's necessary for between 700 and 800 enzyme processes that control thousands of chemical interactions in the body. It's crucial for bone health. Most people think that calcium is the most important factor in bone health. Vitamin D is also important. So it's vitamin K2. We didn't put that in this article, but definitely, if you go to Dr. Carolyn Dean Supplement Recommendations, the blog I wrote, Dr. Dean Supplement Recommendations, the Blue Ice Royal with its vitamin D, vitamin A, and vitamin K2 is a food product that I recommend that gives you your D and K2. And we talk about the vitamin D here being so important, but then if you're taking high doses, that strips your body of magnesium because vitamin D requires magnesium in order to activate it. If you take too much vitamin D, you use up too much magnesium, and you end up getting more magnesium deficiency symptoms. Then with the calcium business, the studies now showing that calcium, if women are taking it as a supplement, they're developing more heart disease. So calcium on its own isn't good. Vitamin D on its own isn't good. They both require magnesium to be balanced. Yet all the studies of those two nutrients will not bring in the magnesium factor. It is a long article. You'll have to read it on your own. 7 authors in a study about the calcium, they are really saying that the risks of taking calcium supplements outweigh the benefits. A huge admission of failure. This information is taken directly from the Magnesium Miracle book, 2017 edition. And with the calcium, I know I've written blogs that say why I hate calcium, something to that effect. But we do need calcium, but it is in a diet if you're eating dairy, and even if you're not eating non-fermented dairy. Let me say that better. Dairy, either fermented or not fermented, has a lot of calcium. Some people, they don't digest dairy, but they can digest fermented dairy because it ferments the lactose. So you can have your kefirs, your good yogurts and be getting up to 600 milligrams a day of dietary calcium. And if you don't, then you can take our Recalcia. We are not trying to just sell you a calcium product if you don't need it. If you're getting half of it in your diet, then just take 1 teaspoon of Recalcia a day, which is what I do. Because the bones do need it. I mean, the bones don't just need magnesium. They are going to require some vitamin D, but not a lot. Vitamin D is a hormone. It's not a nutrient that you want to top off and take a lot of. You just need enough for it to tweak and work. And I don't know when we're ever going to get to the point of properly monitoring our vitamin D. Right now, the vitamin D numbers that you see are the inactive vitamin D, not even the active vitamin D. So it's a real stretch, when people start to hear me say, well, look, just go for low ball your vitamin D, 30 or 40, I think it's nanograms, rather than, I want to be at the highest, I want to be 80. What you want to be high in is your magnesium. What you want to be in the mid-range is your calcium, because if your blood tests show high calcium, you really do have to investigate hyperparathyroidism. All that's in my Magnesium Miracle book. So we do have a number of blog questions, but just to keep the people on chat involved, Ginny, are there any chat questions about bones so far before I go to the blog questions on bones?
Let me, I will pull in a couple of those. And also let me say that we're going to start taking calls too this hour. And the number to call is 602-666-6027. That's 602-666-6027. And then when you get on the phone, you've got to hit star 5. Star 5 on your keypad will let me know that you have a question, and it will allow you to talk to Dr. Dean. So if you don't hit star 5, I can't tell. Your phone remains muted, and we don't have any way to interact with you. So, again, star 5. And if I don't call on you when we open up the phones and you think I'm not seeing you, just hit on the chat line and say, hey, I'm on the phone, and I'll put you on. Okay. Carolyn types in, is Blue Ice Royal for getting omega-3s? I now take an extra vitamin D and K2 supplement because I was low in D in a recent blood test, but I take Blue Ice Royals for my omega-3s. Is that okay?
Yeah, I mean, I take what I take, and I mention that these are the things I take. If you find that you want to take a bit more of this or that, I'm not going to say yay or nay, because you're not my body. But all I'm concerned about is people taking more than 1,000 or 2,000 units of vitamin D a day. That's where I know that I have more information than maybe other doctors or other product sellers. You don't need the really high doses of vitamin D.
Excellent, thank you. And also in a non-related bone question, Wendy typed in and said, I'm so blessed to have found you and your products. I was having a total body meltdown, but not anymore. Quick question. What do you think of flotation tanks, a.k.a. sensory deprivation tanks, where you spend an hour or two floating in a tank filled with...
sorry to interrupt, filled with Epsom salts, yes. Of course, they're fabulous.
Okay,
I've
wonderful.
talked about that before. You can check on the archives of flotation tank. Yeah, if you're lying in Epsom salts for an hour, you're absorbing a lot of that. I think most of the benefits of flotation tanks are probably due to the magnesium.
Okay, wonderful. Excellent. Okay, and we have some new people on the chat tonight. Harriet typed in, and also we've got... Martin typing in from Australia, long-time listeners feeling that they want to get in and be chitty-chatty. So we watch the chat during the show. Feel free to type away and ask any questions you have. And, of course, everybody kind of interacts with each other as well. Okay, let's see. And callers, again, *5 on your keypad if you want to talk to Dr. Dean this night. Okay, let's get some questions in, Carolyn, from the blog.
Sure. Dr. Dean, I just got diagnosed with osteoporosis. We'll be seeing my ND, naturopathic doctor, tomorrow to go over bone density results. I've been taking Remax since June for AFib. I'm now off blood thinner and blood pressure meds. Good. So I still take 1 tablespoon of Remax, that's 3 teaspoons, and 1 teaspoon of Recalcia, and 5,000 of vitamin D. What else would you recommend so that I can reverse this condition? I walk 30 minutes 5 days a week. So this is a female writing in. I just said 5,000 is going to be, in my world, is too much vitamin D. You use up a lot of magnesium in order to try to process that D. Vitamin D that's not from blue ice royal is usually from sheep lanolin. I don't know how the body processes that properly, but I really haven't done a lot of research in other forms of vitamin D. I just know what I use and what I recommend. I would be taking Remite as well. The Remite has all the other minerals. It's got the boron in it, as does Recalcia, but Remite has other minerals that are important for the bones. So I'd definitely be doing that, and I might do a little more exercise, and also maybe some stretching and some yoga, and get your muscles, do something with your arms, because walking is for your legs, but do a little weightlifting with your arms, and just regard what I said earlier about it's not all about the density of your bones. You know, your ND is going to be saying, well, you have to take a calcium supplement. You need more than 300 milligrams of calcium. I mean, I know what they say. I know what they learn. And, maybe read some more on my the free ebooks at Dr. Carolyn Dean Live about what I say in, I guess it would be in the Remite Recalcia book, what I say about osteoporosis. You've got to be on top of what osteoporosis is and what it means in non-30-year-old, and not try to mimic a 30-year-old's bones. The next question, I'm trying to time these for the timeline. I've been on your wonderful products for the past 3 years. I guess 1.5 teaspoons of magnesium and just about 1 teaspoon of Remite that I take with salt in my water almost every day. I also take Realign, just recently started Recalcia, about 1 teaspoon. I feel fabulous at 70. No more blood pressure pills and no back pain. Recently had a bone density done, and to my horror, people are placed into blackness when they get their test. I recently had a bone density test done, and to my horror, I've lost 1% of bone mass each year for the last 5 years since I had my last density scan done. Perhaps that's normal. Perhaps that's what happens, to our bones. So I don't know. I mean, is that something to be horrified about, or is that what doctors are trying to make us feel? My calcium intake was okay, or so I thought. Perhaps I was not getting enough. I also take your suggested probiotic and vitamin D with K2. Yeah, and I don't know how much D that is, and the K2 is good. The K2 helps direct the calcium to the bones. I'm kind of diagnosing myself, wondering whether I should be taking more calcium. Well, what you do with the calcium, and I guess that, as I said, would be in my Remite Recalcia book, Invisible Minerals Part 2, drcarolyndeanlive.com. I have a list of foods and the amount of calcium in the food, so just look at what you're having in your diet. If you feel you need more calcium, do more Recalcia, get more exercise, and try to be positive about your bones. I mean, every time I fall or bang myself into something and I don't break, I think, yay, my bones are strong. Look at things positively. And maybe the restructure would help, the balanced meal, the protein powders, got the RNA drops in them, and they'll help with making perfect cells. So I guess I would add the restructure and what else? Maybe increase your recalcia. The next question is, can my symptoms be reversed? I'm only 56 with severe autoimmune diseases. And I have degenerative disc disease in my spine, osteoarthritis, now osteopenia. 2 MRIs taken a year apart show progressive deterioration. I cannot bend over without extreme pain. All doctors, surgeons, pain management people say I cannot avoid an L4, L5 fusion. I disagree. Something has made me deteriorate. I'm currently retreating leaky gut and trying to rebuild. Do you think REMAG can help rebuild my bones and connective tissues and joints? Well, I don't know. I mean, extreme pain when you bend over, I don't like the sound of that. I don't know what structurally is going on. I like you saying that you really feel you can rebuild. But I can't, when you ask me, do you think REMAG will help rebuild my bones, connective tissue, and joints? I think all the formulas will probably be required, as you heard from several people already when I mentioned their questions, people who had AFib, back pain, feeling better on the product. So it's not just about magnesium. It is really about hydration with water and sea salt, taking your magnesium and your trace minerals and Remite, getting good balanced protein sources, doing some exercise. Autoimmune disease implies yeast overgrowth, so you'd also pick up the free ebook, Reset the Yeast Connection, at the Dr. Carolyn Dean Live website. So, yeah, I'm very positive about people being able to regrow, regenerate, and heal themselves, but I don't know the timing, and I can't make promises. The next one, I've faithfully taken REMAG since you developed it. I used to have chest pain frequently, but do not now. Yay. I still struggle with candida overgrowth despite whole approach and other herbal supplements. I take REMAG 1 teaspoon 3 times a day in water, as well as Remite 1 teaspoon in water twice a day. Vitamin D levels have dropped from 60s to 37, 39. With Carlson vitamin D 4,000, I did try increasing to 10,000 without any change. My DEXA scan 2 years ago showed slight osteopenia, left hip, spine was fine. I walk and exercise. I just reread all your notes and the email blog today. I'm wondering if I should try a different vitamin D product. Is this a sign I'm not absorbing well? Well, the vitamin D, personally, I would go to the blue ice or oil to get your D and your vitamin K2 to put the K2 puts the calcium into your bones. The vitamin D is a food source, so it tends to work better. I don't worry about vitamin D at 37 to 39. Read more about vitamin D. What you can do is just Google my name and vitamin D and see what I've said about it over the years. Next question. Unfortunately, I will not be able to listen to your show this afternoon. Okay, a couple of questions. I have osteopenia, and my primary care wants to put me on Forteo. Now, Forteo, that's one of these bone drugs that kills your osteoblasts. Kills your osteoclasts. The osteoclasts are the bone cells that reabsorb bone. So, the bright thinking of allopathic medicine is, well, let's stop breaking down bone. If you can't break down your bone, then you'll keep having your bone and it'll build up and you'll get stronger bones. But the osteoclasts not only break down bone, but they remodel bone, and they keep it in its right shape and tensity, the denseness of bone. Now, the denseness of bone depends on magnesium as well. So Forteo, what is it? It's a bloody injection, for Pete's sakes, for osteoporosis treatment. So I don't know if that's the monthly injection or not. And injections, they're very tricky because you inject that substance and you cannot get it out. Okay, so it's using a strain of E. coli bacteria modified by recombinant DNA technology. I mean, they just don't even, they don't have a clue what they're doing to the world of nature and human beings when they're just playing around like that. So anyway, personally, I would never take those drugs. And so she said she doesn't want to do it. Currently, I'm taking 200 milligrams of standard processed calcifood wafers. How much magnesium do you recommend? How much calcium? Well, that's kind of what we're talking all day, every day about taking Remag, 2 and 3 teaspoons a day, Recalcia, either 1 or 2 teaspoons, depending on your food intake. I think we'll have to send this person the Remag and Remite booklet so that she can study it, because I'm not here to give prescriptions, but just kind of say what I do and try not to be the doctor, but be the educator. And looking up this calcifood, it mainly says it's got 200 milligrams of calcium per wafer, and it seems to be from veal bone and some vegetables. So it's from bone. We don't know if it's organic or not. I know Standard Process used to be awesome, but then they couldn't maintain their organic standards. It was too expensive, so they're no longer serving up organic bones. The next question: how does vitamin K2 fit into this puzzle? It's not mentioned in the article, so we definitely support the use of vitamin K2. And we've talked about that. I've recently begun taking Remag 1 to 2 capsules daily and have now for the first time ever noticed neck and back pain to the point of going to a masseuse and chiropractor. Is this normal? Do I need to begin taking calcium supplements to balance out the magnesium? Please advise. Now, it's a great question. We don't shy away from these types of questions because we learn from them. It is very unusual for someone to be getting neck and back pain when they're taking magnesium. But I listen to everything a person says. And she says, it is a she, I've recently begun taking Remag 1 to 2 capsules daily. Now, what I want people to do is take the same amount every day. You build up slowly, and then you stick with a dosage. Because if one day you take 1 teaspoon, next day you forget it, next day you take two teaspoons, the body really, I don't know that the word for what you're doing when you're not being consistent, but it's almost like you're opening up a whole bunch of pathways, and then the next day you're not giving those pathways the magnesium they need to continue. So then the pathways just stutter, and who knows what's going on. But it's really important to be consistent here. And then with neck and back pain, if somehow there's the circulation is improving there and the toxins are coming out, I have no way of knowing the history of this person. I would definitely get the Remag lotion, which will be back in the store this week. Get the Remag lotion and start applying that. And, yes, look at the other minerals. Make sure you're hydrated and taking your sea salt water, taking your Remite, and looking at your calcium intake and see if you need to take the Recalcia. Next question, cartilage rebuilding. I'm a 67-year-old African-American woman who wanted to know which minerals are needed to rebuild cartilage. Is magnesium one of them? Yes, definitely magnesium is one of them. Protein is very important too. Collagen is important too. Where is it? I think it's in the Restructure booklet. I talk about what's in Restructure that helps build collagen and cartilage. It's collagen, we haven't even talked about that for building bone, but that's important. And the minerals, the Re-Mag and the Remite and the Recalcio will all support cartilage and collagen. I don't know if that's a good enough answer, but I think when you look at a body organ or part of the body, you can't just say this one thing is going to do it. That's why with the all the complement formulas, with the reset protocol, we look at the integration of all those products, the minerals, the Realign, the Restructure, the RNA drops, as working together to create new cells. One more blog question. What about for our kids? I have an 8-year-old son and twin 4-year-old girls. When should I start supplementing my kids with magnesium and anything else? They don't have any major health problems, but I would like to hear your thoughts. Well, what would be good there? What was that? I recently did a food and mood summit. Go to my blogs at drcarolyndean.com and click on to the Food and Mood Summit that I just did today. Today, my summit interview, darn, it's not on the energy drink one. Let me see if it's on the next one. Food Mood Project. It's there's a link there. Oh, hey, you can go to Food Mood Project November 4th under drcarolyndean.com. And what I've written out is Jennifer's story of her two children. Now, they were ill, and she explained how she got them better, putting them on a yeast-free diet. And all she did was diet, and she kept these kids really healthy after they'd been sick for several years. Now, what I would add to that diet, and Ginny, if you could take note, that's a really good blog to send to parents and grandparents about their kids. What I would add is the Remag and Remite. You can look at the RDA for magnesium for 8-year-olds and 4-year-olds and just use that RDA amount. The Remag is 300 milligrams per teaspoon. And the Remite, an adult dose, we're talking about 1.5 teaspoons. So children are a third to a quarter of that. So they would get that amount. And that's where I would start. And I would add the Restructure. Because kids, they seem to want a lot of sugar, etc. But if you can get them hooked on Restructure breakfast, then they'll get a really good start to their day. So, will we take a few minutes of phone calls, Ginny, before the top of the hour, as we promised?
Well, we've got tons of questions on the chat line. So let's run through those, and then we'll start with our phone calls. Again, phone callers, you've got to hit *5 on your keypad because we've got tons of phone callers. And I see all kinds of new people calling, and it usually means they want to talk to you, but I'm not getting the *5 on the keypad that's raising their hand and letting me know they have something they want to say so I can take their phone off of mute and you guys can chitty-chat. So in the meantime, let's do a couple things off of the line, the chat line, Carolyn. Martin from Australia types in, I have a diagnosis of severe global osteoporosis. I do eat some dairy, but would Recalcia be good for me along with the Remag Remite that I already take? I'm also take a few meds for rheumatoid arthritis. I'm feeling good through using Dr. Dean's products.
Yes, definitely, Martin. The Recalcia is going to be helpful. And in the way we have it structured, the 300 milligrams per teaspoon, it's really well absorbed. So you would only probably take 2 teaspoons a day and just see how you feel on it. When I haven't really tested it with Recalcia, actually. I should, but when I eat a lot of dairy, just when I get addicted for a day or two to yogurt, I need more magnesium. I feel my heart jump a little bit in getting toward my palpitations. So just see how you feel when you add the extra teaspoon of Recalcia. And this is what we really have to be able to do with the products is you're feeling better on them. If you increase or decrease them, how do you feel? So, yeah, definitely if they're talking about global osteoporosis, that's important. And also, as are the vitamin D and the vitamin K2, if you can get some of that blue ice royal, that would be great.
Okay, very good. Deanna types in, I have a hair analysis that shows I have very high levels of calcium. Do you think swimming in salt water daily would have an effect on my mineral levels?
Yeah, that's the problem with hair analysis. We don't know where that calcium is coming from. I can't. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Yes, swimming in salt water could do that. You could be, there's calcium in the salt water. There's more magnesium in the water than there is calcium. However, I don't know. I get flummoxed when I hear about hair analysis results. I studied it when I was in naturopathic training, but it never really made sense to me, and there were so many exceptions to the rule that you just can't keep up. So,
Carolyn, what's a more sure word? I mean, should she have a calcium blood test then?
Yeah, good point. Most of the calcium blood tests are ionized calcium tests, which are really accurate. So, yeah, that's a good point, Ginny. You could do a calcium blood test and make sure it's in the mid-range, and then you'd know that your hair analysis wasn't showing a high-level calcium in your bloodstream.
Yeah, and you can get those calcium blood tests at requestatest.com, I think. I saw that on their blog the other day or on their website when I was scooting around looking for something for somebody else. So, look and see on there if you can just find a calcium blood test at Request a Test or, any test laboratories. Now these pop-up locally managed laboratories, you can just walk in and have a blood test done and have the results emailed to you by the end of the day. It's really no big deal. Here in our area, it's called, like I said, any blood test now, I think is what or any test now or something is what the lab's called. So check that out in your area. Carolyn, Margaret just emailed us. Hold on just a second. We love Margaret so much. This is what she says. Good evening, Dr. Carolyn and Ginny and Bob. Bill and I talked today about how our lives have changed for the better since our first consult with you, Carolyn, 2 years and 7 months ago. Can you believe it's been that long?
No, that's amazing.
2 years and 7 months ago. That's amazing. We send you our love, lots of loves and hugs for you and also your products. Today we went to the eye specialist for another monthly shot in Bill's right eye for the macular issue. However, at 85, he has 20/30 vision in that eye now. And the doctor said it's not the norm and that Bill is doing really well. Isn't that fantastic?
Oh, my gosh. That was his macular degeneration. That is awesome. But, this is Margaret. She's like an angel. She works with Bill and all her friends and holds Remag parties. She's incredible. She's the Magnesium whisperer.
She is. And then she went all the way to Brazil to see John of God and took our product logo and put it in the pile for his special prayers. I mean, she's just something else. We love Margaret. Anyway, here's another thing she asked. She says a friend wants to begin the yeast protocol and was looking at using the caprylic acid. But since she's on blood thinners, it looks like she should not take that. Are there other things that you think she should not do?
Well, I didn't know that the caprylic acid was a blood thinner, but you may have found that. I do have in Reset the Yeast Connection 4 herbal choices that people can rotate, so she can just work with the other 3.
Okay, excellent. We're coming to the top of the hour, everybody. I see all your questions on the chat. Hang in there. We're going to get to those and phone callers as they start to raise their hands. There they go. There the hands come. We'll be right back, everybody, in about 2 minutes. Just let Dr. Dean get some sip of Remag water, and we'll be right back.
With host Ginny Gunther after this brief station break. You can also get updates and resources online by visiting drcarolyndean.com.
Psychic radio, holistic radio, spiritual radio. This is achieveradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/achieveradio.
AchieveRadio.com. What a beautiful day to be alive. My debt is paid and more money arrives. The fridge is full and there's plenty of ice for a fireside chat with anyone I like. What a beautiful day, good to be here when almost everyone has disappeared. When almost everyone is waiting in line, it's good to meet you in this world of mine.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Hour 2, live with Dr. Carolyn Dean here on AchieveRadio.com. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in this evening. We're happy to have you with us. We are going to go to our live callers here in just a minute, and then we'll come back and forth between the chat line. Let me just say that we do want to make sure you know about all of our resources, which include this radio website blog is drcarolyndeanlive.com, drcarolyndeanlive.com. Dr. Dean's own website is drcarolyndean.com. So we've got Dr. Carolyn Dean, drcarolyndeanlive.com. And we also have support, SUPPORT, at RNA Reset, which is the support customer service people extraordinaire, and that's Melody Rose, Doug, Pam, Allie, Megan, Ginny, James, Susan, everybody working together in customer support. Alicia, Houston, everybody works together to get your stuff done, your boxes sent out, everything taken care of. And, of course, all those folks can be reached through support at rnareset.com. And if you have any questions after you hear this, or if you hear it again, and or if you listen down the road in the archives and you need anything from us, that's the place to get us. So Harriet asked about our webinars. Where do we find the webinars? And you can just email me at support@rnareset.com, and I'll send you the list of all the ones that we've done so far. And we have another one coming up, but I can't remember when it's going to be, so I'm not going to say when it is. Right, Carolyn? Do you remember?
No, I don't even know what you just said. But
okay, very good. We have another webinar coming up, right?
We do, in a couple of weeks.
Okay, very good. But neither one of us remember much about it, so we'll leave that.
Oh, next week, yeah. It's November 16th. I just looked, and it's Healthy Holiday Strategies.
Oh, that's right. Okay, very good. Excellent. Okay, so that'll be up. Very good. Okay, now, someone, Kent, typed in and said, Dr. Dean, does eating Pomelo, Pomelo, affect your total body reset products? What's that?
Well, pomelos, if it's what I think it is, pomelos are like giant grapefruit. Giant grapefruit.
Oh, those things. They're really ugly.
Right. Yeah, and they've got the thickest skin. So I don't know why they would. They're just a fruit, so it shouldn't be a problem unless he's wondering if there's too much sugar in them. But they're like grapefruit. They're more acidic. They're not that sweet.
Okay, very good, excellent. Mary Giant typed in, I just had heart palpitations last night. I hate that. My pulse was 40, and it caused me to wake up with nausea. My vitamin D level was low months ago, and the doctor put me on 50,000 IUs of vitamin D. Could this have caused my heart palpitations?
Oh, my gosh. Oh. I can't diagnose over the phone, but if you've been listening today, what have I said about high dose vitamin D? It overutilizes your existing magnesium and makes it unavailable. What does magnesium deficiency do to me? Causes heart palpitations. Don't know about the pulse of 40. A lot of people, when they get heart palpitations or arrhythmias, they can get excessive heart rate, but you definitely have to get checked out. And you can Google a little more about vitamin D and magnesium and what I say. That's probably as much as I can say, but yeah, it's kind of a serious condition.
Very good. Pamela typed in, your blog post on magnesium for bones says that we can get vitamin D and K from Blue Oyster Royal. Okay. I know vitamin A is important too, which Blue Oyster Royal does also have as well. But I've read that those of us with osteoporosis should avoid too much vitamin A from animal sources like cod liver oil. On the other hand, precursors to vitamin A like beta-carotene and carrots may not convert to vitamin A due to thyroid meds. I take 45 milligrams of NT thyroid, which is like Armour. Therefore, I might need active animal vitamin A. What's a girl to do?
Yeah. Well, that's why I go for Blue Ice Royal, because it's a food and the body can process the food. There's just too much information out there, the beta-carotene business. I mean, when I used to eat a lot of carrots, I turned orange. My palms turned orange. Was that good for me? I don't know. It didn't seem I was converting my vitamin A. There's exceptions to every rule. And with the Blue Ice Royal, I like it because it's got the A, D, and K2. You can have a study like the vitamin A studies that showed, too much is not good. There were some case studies where people went on way high doses of vitamin A and scared everybody off of vitamin A. But what we're talking about with the 2 little capsules a day of blue ice oil is not a lot of vitamin A. I don't know if that answers your question, but I don't know precisely what your concern is, but just sit with the information and see what feels best to you to do. Eat your foods that have vitamin A. Take a little bit of animal vitamin A, and try not to take large amounts of either. That's the way I proceed.
Very good. Excellent. Our little friend Harriet, who's typing in for the first time on the chat line tonight, she says, I'm beginning to see a turnaround in my health after restarting the program many times over 5 years. She also typed in later that she is a 67-year-old Black African-American with osteoporosis. She says she takes Remag Restructure, and she makes bone broth for collagen. She says she's new to this, but she feels better overall. And she's also wondering, Carolyn, if you have any feedback for any experiences related to vitiligo, sarcoidosis, or sickle cell that typically affect Black Americans.
Well, sarcoid, that in my experience, working with the yeast-free diet can be helpful for sarcoid. And, I don't know if it alleviates sarcoid, but at least it stops the excessive mucus where sarcoidosis can affect the lungs. So I saw that in my practice, working with yeast treatment, and you can look at my Reset the Yeast Connection book for the diet, the list of foods. I got Barb Schultz to create the diet chapter because I don't do recipes. So, sarcoid, I just looked it up, inflammatory disease affecting multiple organs, mostly the lungs and lymph. So if you can keep your lungs free of excessive mucus that's caused by sugar, gluten, and dairy, then you can really help the symptoms of sarcoidosis. Sickle cell, I have not seen studies of sickle cell magnesium. I mean, sickle cell was kind of an adaptation where people with the sickle trait did not develop malaria. So it developed in that regard. And what was the first condition, Ginny?
Vitiligo?
Well, right, the vitiligo where the skin whitens. I think we've had people with vitiligo say that the Renew lotion has helped them. I definitely be putting our Remag lotion on the skin. I know I've been using my Remag lotion as a body lotion, and I don't have vitiligo, but I have those little white dots that appear on your skin, and they look more stark the more tanned you are. And I'm just looking at my arms right now, and I think they are fading. So, the Renew serum is our skin serum, and Harriet, that might be helpful. But I'll ask Ginny. Ginny, have you heard of anybody remarking on vitiligo and using our products?
Yeah, the Renew serum has helped people, and, randomly it's not consistent. But what we say is Renew is an expensive product. What you can do is get the trial size bottle of the RNA drops. It's only $14.99, and you use the RNA drops on the area that you want to see improved, and use that as a kind of a test. And if you notice any kind of change, then you can invest in the more expensive product. And if you don't see any kind of change, then you may want to try to do it for a month or two. It's not like an instant overnight kind of thing. Vitiligo is what it is. But RNA drops are targeted to work within the cells, and so perhaps there may be some relief that way, if that's what you're after.
Good. Very good. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. All right, let's go to the phones, Carolyn. Let's go to the great country of Canada, area code 250. You're on the line with Dr. Dean, who's, of course, also Canadian. Feel free to speak your mind, give us your name, and then state your question or comment.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much for taking my call. I really appreciate it. My husband has high eye pressure. His eye pressure was 32 in one eye and 28 in the other. And the doctor put him on Selicom. And Selicom reduced his eye pressure. But, of course, I don't want to have to take it for the rest of my life. And I noticed your blog on castor oil. And do you recommend some things so that eventually we can get off Selicom? Would you recommend one drop of what he's doing right now? He's putting Selicom in the morning and castor oil in the evening. Is that okay?
Well, let me get the spelling of this Selicom because some of our drugs down here have different names. Spell it?
It's Salacom.
And the high eye pressure, how long has he had it?
He's had it for a few months only. It hasn't been, for his whole life. It hasn't. It's just been just started a few months ago.
And do you know why he developed it? What's going on to create that?
He really doesn't know what happened. He's, the only thing I can think of that he was on the computers a lot.
Mhm.
Right. And he's been wearing glasses, the bifocal, the distance and close, and I read somewhere that can affect it too. Progressive.
Oh, right, the progressive lenses. And how old is your husband?
He's 62.
Okay. Well, now the Selicom. Pardon me? What was
I said the rest of his health is amazing. Everything else is great.
Okay. I don't know if you heard earlier that Bill and Margaret out in British Columbia, Margaret just wrote in and said for Bill's macular degeneration, which is not eye pressure, his eyes went back to normal now. Do you remember, Ginny, what Bill was doing for his eyes? Was he putting diluted RNA drops in, or the castor oil?
Yep. He was doing he was doing a single RNA drop in the eye cup of saline solution, and you can email me at support@RNA Reset, and I can give you the whole recipe for that. But basically, you do just put one drop of RNA into an eye cup with saline solution in it, and you bathe the eye in that.
Okay.
Now, the thing about the drug that you're taking, it's two chemicals.
Yes, that's why we don't want to take it for the rest of our life.
Right, and it is for the glaucoma, and it's like the angle of the eye where the liquid is supposed to leave the eye. That area can get blocked. Now, when I was looking at other eye diseases, you can Google my name and eyes and find out my blogs about some serious eye diseases that I worked with. When I was looking at the structure of the eye, those labyrinthian pathways that drain the eyes, they can get calcified. And my big thesis is that we don't have enough magnesium, we have too much calcium, and certain tissues can get dehydrated and get calcified and then create problems. And because we didn't learn about this in Dalhousie University, Halifax, Nova Scotia Medical School, then we just leave it up to drugs to treat the symptoms. So, personally, I would say get on the Remag oral magnesium, a drop of castor oil a day in the eye is going to be helpful. Ginny will tell you about the RNA drops. You can just get the little $15 bottle. It's got, about 100 drops, so that's going to do you for 100 days. And, and just look at, in terms of the eye itself, what is the computer doing? Do you have to turn the brightness down? Do you have to get away from the computer more? Just all that stuff. Really pay attention.
He's taped it down considerably. Yeah. The RNA drops, that's from your website, right?
That's right.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
Yeah, everything is on the website.
And can you give me the support email again so that I have it?
Yeah, support@rnareset.com.
RNA
reset.com.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so that's a start, yes, and especially if you email Ginny, she'll keep in touch with you, and any questions you have will be answered.
Okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. And, keep us posted because that's important. These things, if they just come out of the blue, it means we can work on them. It's not a disease. It's just a strain in the body. And, pay attention to hydration. We've got all that written up in our protocol. So Ginny will help you with that and send you to get the right booklets to read. Okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, excellent. Live with Dr. Carolyn Dean here on achieveradio.com. If you'd like to talk to Dr. Dean tonight, call us at 602-666-6027. That's 602-666-6027. And then once you get in on the phone, you've got to hit *5 on the keypad to let us know you have a question or comment, or we won't unmute your phone. So again, *5 will unmute your phone and let us know you have a question or comment, and we'll put you on the air with Dr. Dean. Okay, Carolyn, we're still back at the chat line trying to get caught up from everything that was tippy-typed earlier last hour. So let me say that we heard also, it's like Old Home Week tonight, we heard from our lovely Sarah Courtney. Hello, Sarah. So wonderful to hear from her. She said, Carolyn, I wanted to let you know I have my teeth cleaned today and no tartar, none. The hygienist said, I don't have much to do here. I wonder if my saliva is so mag-saturated it keeps my mouth healthy. They said my gums are beautiful when before they've said my gums were receding. I noticed so many benefits such as these as I continue to use the products.
That's awesome. Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah. She says, you and Carolyn are so amazing to offer this show and all your webcasts. So rare. Yes, Dr. Dean is so generous to spend her time talking and doing this with everybody. It's just wonderful. She just pours out her wisdom like a big, what do you call those things? Those big overstuffed grapefruits. That's her overstuffed wisdom. It's just amazing. Squeezing
like
it out on everybody.
A volcano spewing forth.
That's right. Okay, Barbara typed in, I recently started Recalcia because I noticed I seem to be losing height. My pants are now too long. I have no labs to share as I avoid allopathic doctors. Good for you, Barbara. I take 1/2 teaspoon of Recalcia per day. I also take Remag, Remite, Restructure, and Realign. Should I take more Recalcia?
Well, it's not about that so much. It's I would be doing more stretches, more yoga, more forward bends, more getting the cushion between your bony vertebrae pumped up, and between each vertebrae is 1/2 millimeter that you can play with. So I'm doing that sort of thing. I'm aware of already height challenged, and I'm not going to shrink as I supposedly grow older. And that's what you do. You stretch. You keep yourself stretched out, tall. Keep your posture going. do not give in to gravity. And as for using the recalcia, do your diet and calcium as I talk about, get your 600 milligrams diet plus recalcia.
Okay, she says she doesn't use any dairy because she does not like to. She's on a yeast-free diet. So if she's not doing any dairy, then she probably half a teaspoon of recalcia is just 150 milligrams, right, Carolyn?
That's right. So, you do want to take the 2 teaspoons a day.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. All right, let's see. Shane typed in, question for Dr. Dean. With prescriptive cysts, do you take the probiotic with food or without? Some say that the food gets stomach acid up and this kills the probiotic.
It can be with food or without. I take mine sometimes with my restructure, but mostly actually I drink it down with my recalcia and remite or my remag, and it does not seem to matter. What's interesting about the prescriptive cyst, it's sort of beaded. Which I think makes it a little bit time release, so it'll pass through the stomach, and I'm just slightly making that up. You can look on the prescriptive cyst website. I think we have access to it through RNA Reset and find out what they say. But I take it with or without food. It's so strong. This prescriptive cyst, so stable. That's why you don't even have to keep it in the fridge, and you can eat it with or without meals. You don't have to be all dainty and delicate with it.
Right. They say that the thing that kills the probiotic in the gut is these milk probiotics, Carolyn, the lactose that get all chewed up, and they're very fragile. They're very fragile. But I think prescriptive cyst, being a soil-based probiotic, is actually pretty darn hardy.
Yes. Yeah. That's why we love it so.
That's right. Yep. So I think you can do a lot of things with that, Shane. Okay. Then Dory types in, can you take magnesium without taking calcium? How much magnesium should you take?
Well, that's a very basic question. It depends on how much magnesium you need. And how much magnesium do you need is identified by your magnesium deficiency symptoms. So the best way for a person to know that is to read the Remag book and see how you're burning off your magnesium, what your history has been about sweating or surgeries or medications. Personally, I didn't have a whole lot of horrible stuff in my history, but when I developed leg cramps and heart palpitations, when I finally got the non-laxative Remag going, I was taking 1,200 milligrams of Remag for a year or so before I then took the Remite. I didn't need as much Remag, took 3 teaspoons another half year, and now I'm down, well, it's been 5 or more years, but now I'm only taking 1 teaspoon a day. So I can't tell you. Everybody is different depending on their symptoms. If I take more Remag than 1 teaspoon a day now, plus my Remag lotion all over my body, I will get the laxative effect, which now lets me know that I'm saturated. So it is an investigation. It's a personal investigation and journey to find out how much you require. And as for calcium, it does depend on your diet. As you'll read in probably the Remag Recalcia book, I only recommend 600 milligrams of calcium and sort of on average the 600 milligrams of magnesium in the Remag. So that's kind of my starting point. But if you're eating a lot of dairy, you may be getting a fair amount of calcium in your diet.
Wow, excellent. Okay. Very, very good. 602-666-6027 is the number to call and talk with Dr. Carolyn Dean this evening. If you are so inclined, once you get on the phone, you've got to hit *5 on your keypad, which will raise your hand and let us know you have a question or comment, and we'll put you on the air. Carolyn, how are you doing with the mailbag questions? Because I think we've gotten kind of caught up here.
Okay, well, we can just quickly go to a couple that rose up in my War on Calcification blog. We didn't do all my blogs yet. Let me see if I can bring that up fairly easily. Yeah, we spoke about the Magnesium Energy Drinks Food Mood Project. The third one this past week was the War on Calcification. Start with when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, is the prevailing medical model in the treatment of heart disease. In spite of proof to the contrary, medicine still believes that cholesterol is the cause of heart disease. Now they are using the coronary calcium score to motivate people into taking statin drugs as a treatment for excessive calcium in the coronary arteries that gets attached to cholesterol. But statins don't remove calcification. Even worse, they deplete magnesium, which is the cause of the calcium buildup in the first place. So, I make my comment. It's quite mind-boggling to me that medicine has lost its common sense and its moral compass as it clings to drugs as the only treatment for disease. And, I make a number of statements. Medicine says the coronary calcium screening tool is non-invasive, but it's an X-ray. I must have missed the memo that says radiation is harmless. The scan also leads to more invasive testing if your score is high, and there can definitely be side effects from sticking wires up your groin and into your heart during cardiac catheterization. So calcification is getting to be big news because they're trying to push this coronary calcium scan. When I wrote about it, the past couple of years, this coronary calcium scan, they didn't have any treatment. Now they've decided, okay, we'll treat with statins. Well, just tell them to take statins. And it's crazy. It's really crazy because if you look up The Great Cholesterol Con by Kendrick, you'll see that statins do not cure heart disease. And I wrote down a partial list of calcification conditions, all the heart disease conditions, calcinosis, calcific tendinitis, gallstones, hypoparathyroidism, kidney stones, DCIS, which is breast tissue calcification, misdiagnosed as precancer, fibromyalgia, muscle spasms and calcification, bladder tissue and urethral calcification. Magnesium deficiency is like a calcium calcification condition. And aging. Aging is a calcification. So, read that blog and the comments I got on that. Thank you for continuing your mission in spite of the denial by the medical establishment. There are those of us who are grateful to and for you, and we support you. Someone else wrote, OMG, your blogs just keep getting better and better and better. Wow, home run. Oh, this is like a poem. You are my heroine, and I hope to stick my heart out to help a few the way you are helping so many of us. Blessings and thanks. Someone else wrote, excellent sense as usual, Carolyn. As we all know, the pharmaceuticals and insurance companies are in bed, and not twin beds. They're wolves in sheep's clothing and emperors who wear no clothes. Disgusting, sad. Yeah, it's getting pretty obvious that we're being manipulated, duped, and lied to, et cetera, et cetera. Facebook comment, I've been using your products, and your staff could not be nicer. I admire Dr. Dean, but I do need clarification on something, and that is pink Himalayan salt. I've yet to meet any doctor, including my brilliant brother, who is a medical doctor and who has AFib, who recommends adding it to one's daily diet. So she's saying nobody is using extra salt. This brilliant doctor with AFib insists the minerals are so small in their amount as to make this a bad choice to add to one's diet. Now, I don't know, it's like an oxymoron. They're so small, so they're not going to do anything, but then it's a bad choice. But he probably means the sodium part. so does my cardiologist, so does my internist. They approve of magnesium, but the case for salt is thumbs down. Dr. Dean, you seem to be alone here. Now I'm not. And at what point do we use your products but not just do everything that you recommend? Might you be misguided here? No, I'm not. My good friend who's a cardiologist and studies AFib, since her dad has it, told me salt is salt. And while pink salt may be marginally better, it should not be used to treat AFib. Thoughts? So I had just been interviewed by a journalist about magnesium, and he quoted a PhD pharmacist, Dr. James D. Nicolantoni, a respected cardiovascular research scientist, doctor of pharmacy at St. Luke's Mid-American Heart Institute in Kansas City, the associate editor of British medical journal's Open Heart, the author, co-author of approximately 200 publications in the medical literature, who's written a book called The Salt Fix, Why the Experts Got It All Wrong and How Eating More Might Save Your Life. So he's talking about sea salt. So this guy is brilliant. He's written 200 papers. He is, he says salt is important, and I think, on Facebook, I put this information down on Facebook, and I mean it's incredible. In medical school, they say yes, restrict salt in heart patients, but then that's it. That's as far as they go. And what I'll call him Dr. James because I don't want to pronounce his last name too many more times. Dr. James noticed the dangers of salt deficiency early in his medical career as a community pharmacist. Patients came in to pick up their prescriptions and complained of dizziness, dehydration, and rapid heartbeat. All of them were on medications to lower their blood pressure. So in every case, doctors had also told them to restrict their salt, but their symptoms suggested signs of low sodium. So Dr. James sent patients back to their doctors to get their sodium levels tested. Sure enough, when their doctors tested their sodium levels, they were very low. At that point, the doctors either stopped the medication or cut the dose in half, and the doctor would tell them to add salt back to their food. So please look at salt or sea salt as your friend, not as the enemy of the state like allopathic medicine has brainwashed doctors. And let me just add this. Ginny, did you know that there are 1 million doctors in America, most of whom are giving bad advice to people? 1 million. Yeah.
How did that come out?
I just Googled how many doctors are there in America. Said 1 million.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. That's
incredible.
That's a lot of bad advice being given out.
Hey, Carolyn.
What, Bob?
This is not your opinion. This is mine.
Yeah.
This is based on my great health and my great knowledge.
Yeah.
You cannot be an allopathic doctor and be brilliant. There's too many bad fucking assumptions
Bob,
that they're working
swearing.
with that I have to swear at them.
Okay.
I swear at them.
I know.
No, really. You, it's so far gone. And why has it so far gone? Because under digital speeds of life, everybody in every field, including the CIA, is insecure. Mm-hmm. Everybody is nervous. The doctors haven't got time to figure out anything anymore, the mainstream doctors. They're all insecure. They don't know what's going to happen next, so they're just pushing this stuff out so they can maintain their lifestyle. You have to look at the underlying disease for everybody is the digital speed up. Mm-hmm. That's the real cause of cancer and everything else that's going on. But you have the solutions to counter that. And anybody, if a doctor's brilliant, they know a lot about a lot of crap, but it's just surface stuff. They don't know the new assumptions you have to have, which is what you've discovered. And you wouldn't agree with me, but it doesn't matter. That's my my considered expertise, not an opinion.
Yeah, I know. When I read kind of a little tongue-in-cheek about this brilliant doctor who wouldn't take salt who has AFib. I mean...
Yeah, what an idiot.
Yeah.
The bloody guy's an idiot, and he'll never probably hear what you're saying, and he'll be gone soon. Unfortunately, whoever wrote in, you better look at how stupid...
It was a Facebook comment.
Yeah, and we don't even know if it's a bot or not. You know, you don't even know if it's real.
Okay, Bob. Okay, do you want to mute yourself now? I think
nobody insults Dr. Dean when I'm around. I've seen too much good stuff happen for 40 years.
51.
No. Yeah, that's how long we've been, but you got going a few years after that.
Well, that's true, medicine. Okay, we'll go over to Ginny, see if there's any phone calls or chats. I do have more words in the mailbag.
Okay, excellent. 602-666-6027 is the number to call. *5 on the keypad if you want to talk to Dr. Dean and you have not yet raised your hand. And let's see where we are here. Can magnesium help with tinnitus, Carolyn? Dory wants to know.
If the tinnitus is caused by calcification in your inner ear cells, it's possible it can, but I have tinnitus, and I haven't really shifted, but I'm just one big calcification. You know, my ear deafness was calcified bones in my ear, so you know maybe my tinnitus has lessened with the saturation. I have periodically I'll put a few drops of Remag in my ear, but I can't do it a lot. At a certain point, it kind of irritated. You know, it's pretty concentrated. So, yeah, it's possible it can help.
Okay, very good. Excellent. Let's go to the phones. Area code 973, the great state of New Jersey. You're on the line with Dr. Dean. If you could give us your name and then state your question or comment.
Yes, hello. This is Mitzi calling. Hi,
hi,
Dr. Dean. Hi. Hello,
Good
gal.
to hear you. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful to hear your voice. Okay, I have just one question. I do have AFib and 25 milligrams of Natto each day and 2,000 D3. Should I be taking the K2? You are stressing that as something that works much, much better for absorption for the other supplements that I'm taking.
Right. So you never got into the Blue Ice Royal?
No, I have not. But if that's recommended, I certainly can do that.
Yeah, so when you run out of your vitamin D3, then look up Blue Ice Royal. You know, my blogs have it, or you can just Google it.
Mm-hmm.
But
and that combines the D with the K2, right?
Yeah, and vitamin A as well. So I think it's
I see.
And it's a fermented cod liver oil. So it gives you some omega fatty acids. I just think it's a great all-around.
I'm actually taking cod liver oil separately, so that we combine all the three factors. Oh, that's wonderful.
Right.
All right, Blue Ice Royal. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for your help. Appreciate it.
Okay, Mitzi. Thanks for calling. Bye-bye.
All right, dear. Bye-bye.
Okay, excellent. Any other people want to talk to Dr. Dean tonight? 602-666-6027, and you've got to hit *5 on your keypad. Okay, nobody's raising their hands. Carolyn, everybody's just overwhelmed with your wisdom. They don't even have to ask questions. They're just taking it all in. Well, not by symbiosis, but what that word is. Go ahead.
Osmosis.
Osmosis. There we go.
Facebook comment. Thank you so very much. I ordered your Remag and Remite and love it. So many changes in just 1 week. More sleep, less crampy, more alert. I listened to your first Christian Northrup show and even more on YouTube. You both are such awesome women. I have been on blood pressure meds for 5 years. Of course, they are doing exactly what you said with adding a fluid pill and then upping the dose and then suggesting cholesterol meds now. I found you just in the nick of time. Bless you for all the work you have done to help us if we listen. So that was a cool note. Now, this is an interesting story from a customer. She says, I had my thyroid removed 6 years ago. I've been working with a coach, I guess a nutrition coach in California, who I believe Dr. Dean is familiar with and with whom I have much faith and trust. Now, I don't know if I know this coach. A lot of people will say, oh, yeah, I know Dr. Dean, as if we're best friends, but I don't have friends. So anyway, I had a fracture in my back due to osteoporosis, which propelled me into 2 years of research. After researching and implementing changes in nutrients and minerals, I connected with this coach. My goal was to aggressively deal with healing bones, but I was not expecting to be asked to completely go off thyroid hormones. So actually, when I wrote back to her, because this was a long post, I said, I would never ask anyone to go off anything. That puts too many variables right in your basket to start off with. You don't know what's happening to you, if you get little side effects or reactions. Is it due to going off the hormones or due to going on all these supplements? And then she was asked to take, so then she was on levothyroxine and was asked to completely go off them. Now, she's saying this to me. She said, I was not expecting to be asked to completely go off thyroid hormones, as if I know this person and I've recommended them to her. And by the way, he asked me to go off these hormones. Why did you tell him to do that? It's kind of weird how this comes across to me. She said, I've been working on this for a year. I did 4 colon detoxes, a yeast, and a parasite and liver detox. So listen to my webinar on detox. I really don't like people going on forced detox. About a month after being off my meds, but while taking lots of Thyroven and Xenoven and Adrenal, I don't know what those products are, but they're a thyroid product. I don't know if that's, and an adrenal product. I don't know what the other one is. So after taking lots of supplements, I had severe detox symptoms, fatigue, shortness of breath, which was scary, bloated eyes, loss of hair and skin. Eventually, the bloated eyes and face subsided, but the difficulty breathing did not. I understand this can be candida and inflammation, but I felt scared it might be thyroid. I went back on my meds. One thing to note, as soon as I go off these meds, the arthritis in my hands and knees disappeared. That was a plus. So it goes on. But I think what I'm trying to get at here is don't go off what you're already on. You know, I don't know why people do that. I guess we just know that our products work with anything, and then they'll work undercover and start building up your cells and make you healthier so that you can wean off perhaps your levothyroxine thyroid and not have to go through what she went through. And yes, some of our people, they'll start to get a little bit of fatigue or a skin rash or whatever, and we'll say, yeast, you know, do that now. And then, so she had all that aggravation. Then she decided to give it another try after talking to my coach. Again, I felt great off the meds for about 6 weeks. Then slowly the shortness of breath started. So it just goes on and on and on. Then her sinuses were congested. She had slurred speech. The coach thought it was candida related. The coach believes taking any meds causes more inflammation and interferes with all the work I'm doing to cleanse and reset my body with probiotics, great nutrition, essential enzymes, and minerals. Now, that's not the case. You know, you can't. This coach is not a medical person, has not taken the Hippocratic Oath, you know, first do no harm. You can't tell people to get off their meds and claim that you're going to fix them. You know, that's the allopathic approach. So I really don't like this type of approach, and I've seen it over and over again. You know, real, like, super overly confident practitioners who think they know enough medicine to be able to tell people what to do. And it can be harmful. I know anyone dealing with this cannot recommend or say go off meds, but do you believe I should at least be taking a low dose? I don't want to undo all my really hard work. So, he's scared her, or she scared her to think that if she goes on her meds, she's blown the whole program. Breathing has been difficult, looking for a second opinion about my thyroid hormone support and bone health. She's developing numbness in the hands, problems falling asleep, congestion. So I just, I pretty much said over and over again, I wouldn't recommend people go off their meds, but build up their body until they're feeling well enough to wean off them. And I know that was a bit of a dragged out story, but it to me, it was instructive of what some people are faced with when they go to nutrition coaches who, have their own idea about how to treat you. You have to really guide your therapy, whether it's with allopathic doctors or with just health coaches. And there's so many people out there saying they're health coaches. We don't really know what they're doing. But anyway, I'll go over to Ginny and see if there's anything on her end before continuing.
I have a couple raised hands and some questions. So let's see if we can get the calls in and get this question answered, Carolyn. This one's on Blue Oyster Royal. Shane's asking, it has been accused of being rancid, and non-fermented cod liver oil has been recommended to me by various people. I've been using the Blue Oyster Oil for about a year and have had no problems. I have no fish burps or stomach issues. Have you heard of this rumor? What are your thoughts behind the rancid fish oil on the Blue Oyster Oil?
Yeah, it seems to be accusations. I've read through it all. I stick with Blue Oyster Oil. It doesn't burp me. It's not rancid. It's the way it's fermented. I don't know why the person, I think it was the people in Bowie.
It was a former employee. It was a Matthew Hurtado situation.
Oh, there you go. We know how that can boomerang. Yeah, so I wouldn't.
Something like that. She was somehow, disenchanted and decided to get on her high horse.
Right. And I like what Shane says, it didn't seem rancid to him and everything. Yeah, use your own nose and senses and just realize that it is just horrific out there in the world of dietary supplements at this point. We've been overrun by people who jump into the fray from hospitals and from pharmaceuticals, and people who made their wealth in selling drugs and in hospitals, and then decide, I want to help people. I want to be a health coach. I know a lot, or whatever they're doing, but they bring their attitude into natural medicine, and they bring their marketing strategies, and they bring their ego. And, I don't know if this is what happened at all with Blue Oyster Oil, but I stick by them and the product. And unfortunately, that type of negative rant will just stay on the internet forever, and people will bump into it. But I think it was addressed, by the company, and I don't know if we have that rebuttal for people. I mean, we'll answer people in this way when they ask because we do recommend it, but I think it's been rebutted 100%.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, agree. Okay, and let's see. Where are we here? Let's go to the phones. Let's go to area code 641. You're on the line with Dr. Dean this evening. If you could give us your name and then state your question or comment.
Hi, my name's Anita, and I thank you for taking my call. I'm a health nut and have studied health for a long time. I'm actually a classical homeopath, and I've used that for my family for like 25 years. But I have had different issues throughout my life, and homeopathy has helped quite a bit of it, but I've really struggled with my heart. So arrhythmias, irregular beats, tachycardia, racing, and I pretty much avoid allopathic medicine like the plague. So about a week and a half ago, I Googled once more, amongst many times feeling discouraged that I was still getting these heart issues, thinking I have such a high respect for the body's ability to heal. There's got to be a missing link here. And I didn't really consider magnesium because I take 725 milligrams a day, but I was still having some magnesium symptoms. And I Googled actually, problems for AFib. I haven't been diagnosed with AFib, just a flutter in 2012. Had a cardioversion for that. So I Googled, and one of the people said, I use Dr. Carolyn Dean's Magnesium and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, who's that? And so I started reading, and the researcher that I am.
It's me, Anita.
It's you. Well, then I found out you were from Hawaii, and I said, well, I can't go wrong there. She's from Hawaii. I'm landlocked in Iowa. But anyway, I ordered the magnesium within like 2 days. It came last Wednesday, and I started on it as it was suggested. And I also got the book, the atrial fib book, and I read through that like I couldn't put it down. And I felt like someone finally understood me, because I don't rush to the ER, but you feel like you're dying when your heart goes off racing. But I don't rush to the ER because it's like I'm learning to deal with it and calm myself. And I actually am working with a homeopath in India, and he says, all this heart stuff is just from anxiety. But as I read that, and the more I read on your online and listened to your show last week and was too chicken to call in, but all these dots are starting to line up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm taking 725 milligrams of magnesium, but I still have leg cramps sometimes. I still have insomnia. I have eye twitching going on. And so I thought for the first time in, I would say, many, many years, I felt like maybe there's a hope here. So I ordered it, started on it last Wednesday. I'm up to 1.5 teaspoons a day. I'd already been doing so many of the things you talked about. I drink half my body weight in ounces because guess what? I had a kidney stone back in 2006. The irregular heart stuff started in 1998, but I had anxiety in my 30s. So all these dots started, oh my gosh, this is all magnesium. It's like dot, 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 dot. So my question really is, how long before I might notice a shift, or like what can I expect and how high might I need to go? Because I know I'll probably have to get up to close to 3. You said, I think, I read that you said up to 3 teaspoons a day eventually, and I'm working up every 2 days. I bump it up, and since I was a heavy magnesium taker, I haven't really noticed much detox or Herxheimer's or anything like that.
Well, what form were you taking, Anita? What was the form?
Well, I'd been on all different kinds. Before the kidney stone, I was taking, CalMag, like they all said, but then my homeopath said, don't take calcium anymore. So I stopped taking calcium in 2006 completely. I have a dairy allergy, so I don't eat a lot of dairy. Right now, I don't eat much dairy at all. But I tried Calm, and that gave me diarrhea for months. And so, but I knew I needed the magnesium because I was still having, obviously, the whole cycle. So I switched over probably in the last couple of years to taking magnesium glycinate and taurate, mostly glycinate and then a little bit of taurate with it. And I take like 3 in the morning and 3 at night. And and it's like just all these dots have been connecting because I went to GAPS diet. I thought there's something with my diet. There's something with, and I just kept this feeling there's something at a cellular level because I'm in my early 60s, but I'm a really young early 60s, and this heart stuff impedes my life. I mean, I can't do the things I want to do because I never know. It might just go off and start racing again. And
okay, so you're asking about timing on the Remag. So
like how
to put it into perspective here. So the 750 milligrams you've been taking, I mean, if we take it like 20% absorbed, then, you're only getting about 200 milligrams. And so it's just going to, it'll slowly build up. Some of the heart needs to be protected at all costs. And I wouldn't be surprised if, in the next 2 weeks you really see a shift once you get up to the 2.5, 3 teaspoons. And we're at the top of the hour, but I don't know if that's enough of an answer. I think you're reading and everything and listening. You're getting a lot of answers, and I appreciate you calling in. But you're definitely, the worst is over, and you're definitely on the right track, and you can only do better and better.
Well, I think you just to have like this little glimmer of hope maybe again, I always feel like I'm Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz and there's nothing in the bag for me, Yeah. So,
and that's what's so frightening for us, Anita, and the work we're doing, me and Ginny and the whole team, is we have to tell people, yes, you may be taking magnesium, but it's the wrong one. And if you get one that's 100% absorbed that gets into your cells, then you can do something.
Well, that's what if this works for me, let me tell you, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be buying it. Because I have, because the practice that I do, and I can see all the people I know that I will need it. And so, I'm optimistic, and I'm hoping, and I'm just starting with Remag first, one thing to see how that works, and then perhaps we'll add the Remag, because I take a lot of other supplements, too.
Well, you'll see.
We're
at the top of the
hour.
But thanks, Anita. Thanks, Ginny. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Carol.
I'll
Thanks,
keep
Ginny.
you posted.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, keep us posted, please. Thank you.
Thanks.
Here on AchieveRadio.com.
Thanks, Ginny.
Until next time, so long, and thanks for
Thanks, team.
AchieveRadio.com. Psychic radio, holistic radio, spiritual radio. This is AchieveRadio.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/AchieveRadio.
Well, it's marvelous, you see, as